Here's why today is the worst time to buy a condominium. Let's talk about this today. Guys, I'm back, and I'm not back with my full voice, recovered voice yet, but today I can talk already. I'm still on antibiotics, but today I'm going to do this video because, in fact, I was supposed to film this 2 weeks ago when this news was being released, but I was down with sore throat. But I'm still going to talk about this because this will be a major concern for many buyers and even sellers out there, because the buyers will be thinking, when I'm buying at an all-time high volume, will I be paying for the highest price? And as a seller, I know what you're thinking. Since the volume has been going up, maybe I should wait a while more for the price to go up more before I sell my property. So it's just very normal in this current market that everybody will feel very scared. And for me, as a very kiasi buyer, all this well, who is always being very frugal, it just prompted me to make this video so that you, as a buyer today, you know what to do. And how this video is going to be done is, number one, I'll be going through the TLDR version of this article. I read it so you don't have to. Secondly, I'll be going through with you what history has taught us so that you know what to predict in the next couple of months or even years. Last but not least, as a very kiasi buyer, what I will do today if I'm a buyer and a seller. And this is the reason why, even though I got sore throat, I still do this video. So if you can help me, right, like this video, because it's going to help me a great deal. Thank you so much. So first up, the TLDR version. Basically, this article is saying that there's 32.2% increase in the resale volume. There's a year-on-year growth. The resale volume this year is 21.7% higher than July 2023. The regional performance, the CCR actually made the most profit after a few months of decline. And also the subsale transaction dropped to 7.1, a few percent lower than the previous month. So all these things is just saying that today is it a good time to buy property? No, because you will be buying more expensive than last month. And during last month's article, which I also did a video over there, it said that the volume of transaction actually went down. And with volume of transaction going down, does it mean that the price will be going down? Obviously, yes, right? However, this month it said that the price increased. So can I say today, based on the news, is always the worst time to buy property, and hence my opening statement. And with that being said, I predicted the right thing, because in this video, I told you that the next article will say that the resale volume surged. And for that, right, you must subscribe to the channel. You know why? Because I can tell you the future. Next, we're going to talk about what has history taught us. And over here, first I want to bring to your attention will be the drop in number of subsale transaction. And it's very, very glaring, because why? Ever since 2019, after the COVID pandemic, right, we saw the number of subsale transaction go up substantially. In 2021, there were a total of 287 subsale transactions. In year 2022, there were 258. And 2023, we saw the record high subsale transaction ever since TDSR and ABSD were being introduced. And why is largely due to supply chain disruption, whereby a lot of the buyers are unable to wait for the new launch to be completed. But there's more to that if you actually look into the numbers, and which I will explain in a bit. In 2024, you see the number of subsale transactions drop to 153 transactions, and we are already almost coming to the end of the third quarter, meaning to say that we're most likely going to end this quarter, this 2024, at slightly above 200 subsale transactions. And what does that mean over here? If we plot in another chart over here, why are there lesser subsale transactions? For a very simple reason. If you put the trend line of a new launch over here, why people are not buying the subsale anymore at this point? Because in 2022, why the number of transactions in the subsales increased was because you saw the gap. The gap between the new launch pricing for PSF was $2,004 versus $1,827 per square foot. Next, in 2023, the difference between the subsale and the new launch was $2,498 PSF versus $1,859 PSF. And I will explain to you why this is happening at the end. If you follow this channel for long enough, you always say that do not judge based on the number of months, because over here, the COVID season in May 2020, there was a big jump in number of transactions, and you see that the prices actually went shoot up. Next month, right, which is July 2020, even though the number of transactions went up steeply, right, the price actually went down. You can see similar trends like this. The price went down even though the transaction volume went up. Why? Because today we always know that developers will actually strategize their launch based on like major festivals of Singapore, and that will actually stimulate the market in terms of resale and also the new launches. So using a quarter by quarter basis may tell you a better story, but from an investment standpoint, I always say that buying properties is not speculation. You're not gambling, but it's a long-term investment. So it's best to use by the number of years. And when you use the number of years, you see a clearer story. When the number of transactions actually starts going up, right, you will see that the prices actually go up. And the reason why behind that is because today, whenever there's an increase in volume, means the current stock in the market is actually being taken out. So for context, let's say today we are buying an EC resale, and currently all the owners are asking for $1,500 per square foot. And a jump in resale volume means that all the units at 1,500 will be taken. And if you are the owner of a property in this resale EC, what will be your asking price when you look at the last transacted period at 1,005? Would it be higher or lower? Most of the time, you'll be asking for another 5% premium. By then, when the next jump in volume happens, right, the average PSF or that condo will start to increase. And that explains in a nutshell why when the volume increases, you usually see the next benchmark pricing being achieved. And by now, you would have your own opinions on whether it's a good time to buy, to sell, or you just want to wait. Let me know inside the comments. Happy to hear from you as well. And if you don't have any opinions and you almost want to drop from this video already, this is my number. I'm happy to share with you my views on your current plans. Now coming to the last part, what would I do if I'm a buyer and a seller today? I always fall back to my 3 golden principles. Is number 1, always start saving and invest early. Number 2, constantly upsize your asset net worth by upgrading as soon as you can. And last but not least, always try your best to have a 20% buffer in any purchase to tide through difficult times. So for the buyers, it's pretty straightforward in this case because we always know that buying properties is always time sensitive because as age grows, TLDR will limit the amount of loan that you can get. When you buy any property, you need to clear 3 years before you can sell without the seller's stamp duty. And last but not least, waiting will only risk facing another cooling measure that may make the property even more difficult to afford. And having said that, I'm not saying that you should buy any property you want. Today in the current market, you're able to see certain opportunities out there where the sellers are actually pricing the properties slightly below the last transacted or slightly above the last transacted. And not all the properties can make money. Today, if you look at the current trend, right, with the subsale and the new launch pricing coming so close, right, there are really a lot of opportunities out there because the subsale average pricing has briefly tapered down over the months. And today, if you're able to find the one new launch property that is very close to the subsale pricing, I would see that there's immense opportunity out there. Having said that, I'm not saying that you can just buy any property you want and sure make money. If you are looking for a 3 to 5 years investment horizon, I would think that the subsale and the resale are priced pretty high today. And with the new launch pricing being so close to the subsale, I would think that a 20 to 35% profit margin will be more achievable if you're buying for a new launch. However, if you can only afford to buy a resale property and your budget only allows you to buy a resale, go for the bigger floor plate as much as you can because it has proven to have a healthier growth over time. Regardless of which route you're going for, always remember, do not get emotional, do not pay record price just because you like it, and always try to maintain 10 to 20% reserve funds to tide through difficult times. Then you are safe. So for those who are selling to upgrade to the next property, try not to wait for the price to go further because the bigger property that you're looking to buy will always grow faster than the smaller property that you currently own. Therefore, even though you eventually sell higher, but you'll be paying even higher for the next purchase. Next, if you're a seller that has no plan to upgrade or even downgrading, I would think that you have the luxury to wait at this point because the price shows no signs of dropping. So if you can hold your current property and if you need an agent to sell at a record price, give me a call. Last but not least, if you are considering to sell a property because you made a profit due to COVID and you wish to speed up your growth in your wealth by buying the right asset, you can consider swapping to a new launch using your resale profit if you have the luxury of moving to your parents' place or you own another asset that you're currently staying in. With that, I hope you learned something today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bell because we post weekly real estate videos like this. Wish you all the best and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.